I gotta say, this feels really strange. The second video this week that I've done on a first impressions on a new fragrance. Like, we're actually getting new stuff now that's really refreshing. I have a first impressions playlist, and if you go look back at that, it's been pretty barren for the last 6 months. I think the last major release was Armani Code Parfum, which was a few months ago, 4 months ago maybe, and then we had Coach Open Road like 2 months ago, which was not quite as an anticipated release. Like I said, it's been pretty dead. Most recently, Mancera Tonka Cola, which I was super pumped up about. You can watch that first impressions. I think it's great. But now we have some more from a clone brand. We actually have 4 of them. We have 4 new fragrances from Armaf. I'm only going to be covering one though today because I think this is the one most people are really interested in. It is Armaf Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. Okay, so here it is right here. Now, I got to tell you, when I started opening these up, I got them in from Fragrance By. I immediately ripped the cellophane off of this one, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm going to be doing a first impressions on that. So I completely jumped the gun, but I promise you I haven't opened it up beyond this point, haven't smelled it, so we're going to do that together here on camera. I just got really excited and completely wasn't thinking. So let's go ahead and pop it open, and I'll show you here. You got still the Creed style of presentation with the little card. That is what Creed does, which is kind of a cool little touch. It's a little extra gotcha that the brand does, which kind of makes me laugh. And then now we have the brand, or the bottle actually. So here it is. It's a Armaf Club de Nuit bottle. You know, you got the little charm on the front that's glued down. Sometimes these will lose their adhesive and they fling around, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all essentially. Not a whole lot changes. One thing that has stayed the same across all of these is actually these bottles have some heft to them. Got some weight, nice thick glass. It doesn't really feel cheap, even though some might say it looks a little bit cheap. You know, it's really not that bad. Another thing, these already hit discounters for like $40. So, you know, pretty on par with their pricing. Not quite as cheap as some, but also some are more expensive, like Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man limited edition Parfum. That's like 60 bucks. Atomizer already came primed. Same atomizer across the board. And let's see what we have going on. So you get hit with a bunch of freshness, a whole bunch of high impact aroma chemicals here, like a strong bergamot, bunch of ambroxan, a little bit of like a pineapple-y feel, but then also some woods, you know, as well, kind of coming in. Some cedar wood, almost like a leathery feel to some extent. You know, this is definitely going to be very on par with things that you've smelled before, whether it be from clone brands or from designer brands, or I guess niche brands even as well. And that is that you do get what smells to me like a little bit of Aventus qualities, you know, that kind of bergamot-y, pineapple-y birchiness. You're getting some of that. Also just some of the high impact ambroxan, but then you're also getting a little bit of like a blue fragrance deal. But there's also this cooling aspect about this one, like this cooling, refreshing smell that you can actually feel in your nose, kind of like when you smell something like Layton. You know how when you smell Layton, it's got that almost menthol kind of feeling. When you smell it, you can actually feel it in your nose. I don't get that from a ton of fragrances. I don't really get that from any blue fragrances or Aventus clones that I could think of, but I'm getting that here. I don't know if it's maybe a geranium green accord that's contributing to that in here. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is in Layton either. But you're getting that. Definitely Dylan bluish, Sauvage-ish, mixed with a little bit of Aventus type of thing going on here off the top, which again is familiar, but also it does smell pretty nice. So we'll take a look at the notes here just to kind of run it over. Pink pepper, bergamot, jasmine, and orange blossom up top. Lavender, geranium, elemi, tagetes, not spaghetti, tagetes, saffron, and vetiver. We'll just skip over that. And then the base, ambroxan, patchouli, amber, cedar, and labdanum. So really, this note breakdown does not come as a surprise. This is very predictable. Like when you actually get this one and you're smelling it, ambroxan for sure, pink pepper spiciness, definitely the bergamot like I had said, lavender, nice clean fresh lavender here, nice aromatic touch. And then one thing that is interesting is the geranium. So like I said, that could be kind of a green, almost minty textured aspect that's lending to this one. And cedar wood, I did say, had a woodiness to it. So, you know, the thing is when you're buying something like this, like Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man in any of the versions, you're basically trying to get something that smells like Aventus for a good price. And that's what they do, all right? They're not knocking those. Those are great fragrances. But usually right after that, you're buying those because they're compliment getters. I mean, Aventus itself has been praised for years now for being just one of the best compliment getters for men and that sort of thing. So a lot of people are going into that with that thought in mind. Same deal with this, where you're getting some Aventus styles here, some textures like Aventus, you know, little nuanced things here and there. But you're also getting some, you know, blue fragrance vibes as well. And what do people like blue fragrances for? Also for compliments. So the way I kind of look at this one is, you know, this is not something you're going to want to buy if you're after something new and unique, which, you know, I don't think anyone would be anyway. If you're looking at this, that's probably not what you're here for. I think this would be something that you would buy if you still want another affordable mass pleaser that's going to give you a little bit of a different approach on your Aventus or Dylan Blue Sauvage. You know, if you wear Sauvage, if you wear Aventus clones, if you have those in your rotation all the time, switching back and forth, you could get this and kind of have something that's almost like a mashup of Aventus style mixed with general blue fragrance style. That's kind of how I would look at it. And that's about the only way I would, you know, suggest that you get this one. It's about the only way that I would recommend it, is if you're kind of after something like that. So what else can we do? I guess we could take a look at the comparisons. I wanted to see, I think this is this an eau de parfum? Yes, it is an eau de parfum. It says it on the box. So that's pretty on par with, you know, Club de Nuit Intense Man eau de parfum. So comparisons, we have Sauvage up first with 23-1. And again, definitely the pepper, the ambroxan, the bergamot, it's Sauvage-ish. You know, we have Club de Nuit Intense Man up next, Aventus, sure. Sauvage eau de parfum, excuse me, 6-1. Yeah, maybe a little bit more of a smooth take on Sauvage, almost more so like what I would say to be a Prada Carbon type of thing. More so even than Sauvage eau de parfum, because it still has some of that spiciness, some of that pepper, some of that metallic notes going on, but more so in the vein of a Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. Office for Men, which is kind of interesting. You know, Office for Men does have a little bit of that texture that I was talking about, that almost cooling smell. So sure, I guess that isn't horribly far-fetched. Ariana Grande Cloud, no. Baccarat Rouge 540, so yeah, there's a few BR 540s, you know, comparisons here, which is kind of throwing me off. Not so sure I can agree with that. What else? Aventus itself is down there towards the bottom. We just don't have that many votes yet because it just came out. So ultimately, you know, I do think it's Prada Carbon, smoother Sauvage, mixing with some Aventus tones is kind of how I look at it. Is this something that I would say everyone needs to go rush out and purchase? No, I don't really think so. You could argue that you might be able to achieve a similar result by simply layering Prada Carbon with an Aventus clone or Aventus itself, right? Not saying I'm not saying that would create the exact same result, but maybe achieve a similar thing. Now, one thing I will say this has going for it is its price point. It's only going to get cheaper as well, $40 right now. Probably will likely land a little bit closer to hopefully 30-ish by the time it's all said and done, and testers I'm sure will pop up that'll be more affordable. And I do think testers generally come with caps. Could be wrong. And another thing that I think will really help this one along is performance. Now, it's too soon to tell, of course, but this hasn't lost any impact, hasn't lost any power. I can smell it in the air without bringing it up to my nose to smell it. I mean, I could smell it right now. You know, this is one that's going to leave a great trail. I think it's going to project strongly as well. I think it's going to last a while too. You've got a lot of high impact synthetic ingredients in here that will generally likely stay around for a long time. A lot of these Armaf clones do have really good performance. So couple things going for it here. Ultimately, it's not going to be one that's going to blow you away and excite you and be something brand new. But at the same time, I can't find any reason to hate this. I can't find any reason to dislike it even. It just smells nice. Redundant, very well could be. smells nice for sure, going to be a big compliment getter. Yeah, you know, I think just if this is what you're after, then this, you just can't go wrong with it. It'd be a nice one to toss in the arsenal, be a great dumb reach. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Club de Nuit Man, Urban Elixir. You know, this one kind of was being speculated because, you know, Club de Nuit for men is 1 million. So people were thinking, oh, you know, Elixir means 1 million Elixir. You know, you can't put that much weight on the naming convention of these because they all have this style bottle. They all follow a same naming structure. So, for example, Armaf Club de Nuit for women is Tom Ford Noir de Noir. And if you accidentally buy the wrong one, thinking you're getting an Aventus clone, and you buy the woman's version, it's not Aventus for her, right? This came out before Aventus for her. It's Tom Ford Noir de Noir. So again, the names really are very arbitrary with these. Don't put a lot of weight on those. This is still very much Sauvage, Blue Fragrance, Prada Carbon meets nuances of Creed Aventus in a nutshell. So I will link this and the other new Armafs down below. I keep going back to this because I almost could have sworn I got a hint of vanilla. I don't think vanilla is in here. There's labdanum, there's amber. No vanilla, maybe not, but there's almost a little bit of a sweetness. I'll probably do a full review on this one. I think it might change a little bit more as time goes on, so I'll cover that and I'll cover performance. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.